Hello. Today I decided to tackle one of the animations I knew would be difficult to get right, but I think I've gotten it feeling really, really good in game, and that's the flip kick. It's basically just like an overhead kick that the player does in the air that lets them readjust and also gives them a little boost in height and also is an attack. Um, I also added this little cannonball state after, which was really important. I thought of this on the fly because I was thinking of a way to show the player visually that, hey, you cannot interact with the wall for this amount of time after your flip kick. Because in games, they cannot do that. So basically, until, like, while they're in this little cannonball state, they can't touch the wall, and once these arms and legs flip up, they can once again start to do wall slides and uh, touch the wall and all of that jazz there. I also experimented with making the foot bigger during the kick. I couldn't make it too big because in my first test run, I made the foot scale up way too big, and it looked really bad in game because it was just taking up way too much space. But I think I found a pretty good balance between the two. And I also made the tail sort of curve inward just to make it look more round, because since the player orients themselves in the air, the idea was to keep it sort of in like a ball shape while they are able to readjust, so it doesn't look like a character just rotating around in the air as much. And in game, this is what that will look like. And with the wall thing I was talking about before, that's, you can see the player cannot interact with the wall, and it looks like it visually now too because they're in that cannonball state. But if I were to do a bigger jump and then kick, once my arms go up, he starts interacting with the wall. Obviously, there's no wall slide animation yet, but once there is, his arms will already be like up. So it should blend into that pretty nicely too. And the adjusting in the air, that's just the player when they're using it can flip around any direction they want. And because he's in a ball shape, it looks pretty good. Cause like before, if he were my first version of the flip kick, he was still horizontal in the kick during that time, and you could just like helicopter him in the air, and it looked really bad. But that looks really good. That's about it for the flip kick. Oh, actually, it does need some VFX still. All of these attacks, I'd like to have like little speed lines or white indicators that indicate that you're doing like an attack. And I think that would help too here. With help like to show that it's an attack. Like the player will learn that, and looking at it, they might be able to tell, but it's still kind of ambiguous. But I think that white line will really make it solid. Like the player will not have to question anymore if it is an attack or not once we have that there. Die. That's about it for the flip kick, but I also recently improved the IK leaning, so I might talk about that for a little bit. Before, it didn't interpolate between the leans, but I figured out a way to do that. So now, it's just a lot smoother. And I also made it so if you're running fast, you lean more, and if you're moving slow, you lean a lot less, so it's a lot more realistic. Before, if you were just walking and turning, it would do the full lean while you were walking, and it just looked silly. And this also fixes a bug where jumping and turning around fast would cause the head to just jitter. I also made it so it'll interpolate to 0 when I detect that. So turning around no longer looks like he's just swinging his head out and whacking people with it. Now it looks really normal. So all things considered, the running is I'm really happy with it. It needs some polish, especially with like the tail, of course. But that can come later. Right now, I'm mostly interested in just shaping out what's happening because I want to start playtesting some of these things pretty soon, or at least be able to show people the game and have them know what the character is doing, besides just sliding around in an A pose. So this is what I'll be focusing on for a little bit. I'll probably tackle an easy one next, like the spinning maybe, because yeah. I think I'm also just going to make it so that when you attack while spinning, it'll just do this. And it'll cancel the spin. I think that's just going to be for the best. I don't know if I made a video on this, but it looks pretty cool too. Right now, if you spin and then jump, it keeps it in the air. It looks kind of cool. And now I can do this too. That's sick. It's starting to feel more like a real character. That's where I'm going to end it for now, though.